Hey guys, big update. So, I'm going to look here. We have 3 new classes, which is brand new. We have the Priest, the Warlock, and the Ranger, alongside the Rogue, Warrior, and Mage. Each one has its own effects, and each one has varying abilities with mechanics that I wanted to play with. So we'll go ahead and start with, I guess, Rogue. I believe nothing new here. We have new ability icons for everything. And some abilities have gotten reworked and new abilities have been added as well. So we have Shiv, Eviscerate, Grapple, Sprint, and then the 2 new abilities, only one of which works right now, is the Meditation or Rest or whatever you want to call it. It'll regenerate, instantly regenerate energy when it's low, and the other one that is not functional right now is called Cheap Shot, which is another combo-based ability and will stun the target for a set duration based on the number of combo points you used. Right now, it's hard to really test the stun because I need some kind of AI or some kind of movement going to really visualize it, especially since I don't have animations or particles telling me something is stunned. So everything here works the exact same way for the Rogue. Nothing fancy, nothing new. Yeah, so that's it for the Rogue. Warrior has a new ability, Rend. The original Rend got reworked into Slam as an instant target damaging ability. Rend was changed now to a damage over time ability, which applies a bleed to the target, charge, enrage, and thunderclap. For I don't know what to call this one yet. Thunderclap is what they call it in WoW, so I'm calling it that for now. So charge works the exact same way, generates rage. Slam works exactly the same way as the old Rend did. Spends rage to deal damage. The enrage ability gives you a flat amount of rage and an additional rage over time after usage. So that's a good way to keep your abilities going so you can keep slamming. Rend inflicts your damage over time, so you'll notice that the target is taking damage periodically, as well as an instant like a cut damage. So a small amount of instant damage plus the bleed over time. I'll come over to these guys to show the AoE Thunderclap, which deals damage in a small radius around me. So 5. Yes. Thunderclap deals damage to both the Ranger and the Warlock. If I try and stand here, it might damage them all 3. Enrage, Thunderclap, Priest, Warlock, Ranger all took damage. So that's everything for the Warrior that's new. The Mage apparently doesn't have an object set as reference. Has only one new ability, which does not work yet, but has a reworked, 2 reworked abilities. So the Fireball works the same way. It's just it's a projectile-based cast ability. Fire Blast works the same way, an instant damaging ability with double crit chance. The Firestorm works differently now. So what it does is, instead of casting and dealing damage in an area around it, the point that I cast at, it's going to periodically deal damage to all targets within the radius over a set duration, as opposed to just an instant flat damage. So now this gives a chance for targets to actually move out of the radius and avoid the damage. And then Evocation also got reworked. I'm going to have to spend a bunch of mana here just to show it. Quickly try and drain my mana here. Evocation before used to give to refill our mana back to full every time we cast it. Now it does the same thing as it does on World of Warcraft. It periodically generates mana over the course of your channel time. And it does not grant you full. I believe it's granting 60% of your total mana every time you channel it. Also the Fireball, if you noticed, Fireball no longer has a cooldown timer to it. It's just being played off the GCD. First class, the first new class, the Hunter, or the Ranger, because this is just focusing on ranged physical damage now. No pet. Ranger comes with 12 stamina, 7 strength, 13 agility, and your low intellect and wisdom. This grants it 37 attack power, 23% and 23% crit chance, which makes it a fairly average damage dealing class, but it gets the advantage of being able to attack from a range. It has 6 abilities. First one is Quick Shot, then Aim Shot, then Volley, a Mark for Death, or a Marked Shot, Multi-Shot, which currently does not work, and Disengage, which is bugged. The first ability, Aim Shot, is a channeled ability, which fires off a projectile, and with the added bonus of regenerating energy. Quick Shot is an instant cast ability that uses your energy, and then Aim Shot restores your energy, so you have to balance between using those two. Then you have Volley, which does the same thing as the Firestorm ability from the Mage. It is a periodic damage over time in an area at a targeted location, but it deals less damage, but it deals damage more frequently. Less damage per tick, more damage, or same damage because it ticks more often. Then we have the Marked for Death, which it boosts the Hunter's damage, or the Ranger's damage, not other classes, boosts the Ranger's damage by, I think it was 50%? I can't remember. So I'll just go ahead and fire off a couple quick shots here to show you the damages. A normal quick shot is 47 damage. A critical quick shot is 94. If I apply the Hunter's Mark to this target and start quick shotting, a normal turns to 75. And I need energy. Reapply. I want to see a critical turns to 141. So that is a significant damage boost between the two. From a 74 to a 141, that's double. That's around double. So yeah, Hunter's Mark. Our Disengage is supposed to launch us backwards a set distance, but right now it's weird the way I'm handling it because I'm not using rigid bodies, so I'm using character controllers and creating my own physics. So I'm going to focus more on the physics to get this ability to work, but what it does is it just launches you backwards into the sky now for I'm not sure how far, can't remember. And then Multi-Shot currently doesn't do anything, but the intended purpose is that it's going to deal damage to everything in a cone in front of you. And that is that for that. The Warlock has 6 abilities. Comes with Corruption, which is a damage over time ability. I believe Ignite, or I can't remember what it was called. I'm going to call it Ignite for now because I can't remember the name, which deals a flat damage, kind of like Rend, and a damage over time portion. Then you have Shadowbolt, which is a projectile-based damaging ability with a cast time. You have Drain Life, which steals life from your opponent and gives it to you. And 2 debuffs. One is Exhaustion, which slows the target. And the other is Weakness, which reduces the target's power, attack power, and I think spell power. So we'll start with Immolate. Immolate deals that flat damage and a damage over time portion. And then Corruption also does the same thing without the flat damage to begin. Let's just corrupt you. Shadowbolt does the exact same thing as the Fireball. It's a projectile-based damaging ability. Leech Life, you'll notice that the Warlock has only does not have maximum health. I'm going to drain life from the target using Leech Life, which is a channeled ability, which means it can be interrupted. It can be cancelled by me moving at any time, and it has a similar effect to the damage over time, which instead of casting the ability at the end of the channel time or the cast time, it's casting the ability every X number of seconds depending on the ability settings, as long as the cast time is still active. And then, so we're going to swap over the target quickly, show you the stats. So 100% movement speed before I do the exhaustion. I'm pretty certain it was exhaustion that reduces movement speed. So we'll do that and hop over here. I do not feel slower. Huh. Did I get it wrong? Let's try weakness. Oh, weakness definitely reduced the power, because now that's negative 23, which should be changed to 0. But let's try on the Ranger so we can see. The Ranger has 37 attack power, 2 spell power. We're going to weakness that, and it results in 12 attack power, 12 down from 37, and negative 23 down from 2, so minus 25 to both. I'm kind of surprised. I thought exhaustion was a working ability, but I guess not. I must not have linked it or missed something. And then, so that concludes the Warlock. The Warlock, I forgot to show, has 11 stamina, absolutely nothing for strength and agility, and then a balanced intellect and wisdom at 15%. This gives it a 15 spell power for the intellect and an additional 15% crit chance on top of your 10% base, thanks to the wisdom. Then we have the last class is the Priest. So the Priest has low survivability stats, low stamina, the strength and agility are low as well, and the intellect is not that high compared to other magic classes, but the wisdom is very high, meaning it's going to regenerate mana much faster, and it's going to have a high crit chance as well. The crit chance matters because this is a low damaging class focused on healing abilities. So I have an ability called Renew. I have an ability called, I believe, Restore. And then the only damaging ability on this is Smite. I also have a Barrier, which does not do anything yet. I'm still trying to work through that mechanic. And 2 buffs, which are Blessing and Fortitude. So Fortitude would be this one, and Blessing would be this one. I should probably switch them around. So I'm going to look at some of these damage guys. The Rogue will take the Restoration, which deals flat healing. Scales with spell power as well. And I'm getting a lot of critical hits because of that wisdom bonus. And then the Renew is a heal over time effect, which is that's it. It's a heal over time effect. Nothing fancy. Smite deals a little bit of damage, not much. As you can see, it's only 34.6 damage. And it's not critically hitting for some reason. There we go. So if you're trying to deal damage to Priest, you're going to rely a lot on those critical hits. And then the 2 buffs. So we'll go ahead and target myself. I have 8 stamina, 1, 2, 12, 22. What these are going to do is the Fortitude is going to give me a boost to my health by, I believe, 250 health points. And the the blessing is going to boost my attack power and my spell power, I believe, by 25, the opposite of the weakness of debuff. So we'll go ahead and select me and give me health. So you'll notice my health actively updated here. And then, again, pay attention, 9 and 12 spell power. 9 attack power, 12 spell power. I'm blessing myself, and that goes up to 34 and 37, making my damage much higher now. From a 36.9 to a 54.6, not counting critical strike, which goes up to 109.2. Then healing goes up quite a bit as well. From 17.4 normally, 34.8 after critical. That's a pretty big buff. I believe that is all of the updates. Let me just check quickly here. So yeah, I still have to figure out the armors for the mage armor and the barrier effect, and I have to calculate the cone damaging effect, or the cone radius for the ranger's multi-shot. And then that is everything for this update. A lot of things got introduced here, a lot of different ability mechanics, channeling effects, damage over times, healing over times, buffs and debuffs for health and damage, and the movement speed should also be a thing where I'm kind of confused why the exhaust did not work. The movement speed buff from the rogue as well. AoE abilities got the rework. So the thunderclap from the warrior has a radial effect around it versus the ranger's volley and the firestorm from mage, which is now an AoE periodic damage effect. And some new positional abilities, such as the ranger's disengage, which doesn't 100% work yet. You got to implement physics for that first. And yeah, so that's all I have for the update this time around. I'm really looking forward to implement the basic attacking functionality, which will come with some attack speed modifiers and a haste stat, and see about trying to create a basic AI so I can test some of these disable abilities, interruption abilities, such as silencing effects, interrupting cast times, immobilizing them, and straight up stuns. So that's everything for today. Thank you for watching.